Y'all, being labeled gifted as a child screwed me up, and I'm trying to fix it. This is that story. Dun dun. I kid, I kid. If you don't know, my name is Alexis. I am posting every single day here on YouTube. Check my track record. Today is day 18. My goal is 100 days, but ultimately 365 days of daily posting. So hop on this train early, and yeah, let's talk about it, y'all. So I'm sure by now many of you have seen some of the YouTube videos, some of the Substacks, the Medium articles about growing up as a gifted kid. And yeah, I wanted to talk about it a little bit because it's fascinating to me how much like a simple label as a child can affect you in adulthood, like your habits, your feelings of self worth, so many things. It's kind of insane. So I remember very distinctively in elementary school being at the top of the class almost 100% of the time. Like there was one class where it was like me and another kid that like every month, every couple of months, we'd like switch places, and I still remember him. His name was Milton. And we'd always be fighting for top spot. But I also really distinctly remembering like, every kid gets sent with homework, whether it's like spelling or basic math, tracing your letters, whatever, and not needing any help with it. Like my parents be like, "You finish your homework." 10 minutes later, "Yep," just kind of whatever. And I don't remember exactly um, what age like the gifted label became a thing, or at what age it was attributed to me. But I do remember very distinctly as a kid always being told like, "Wow, you're so smart, you're so," and I wasn't putting any effort in, which when you're a kid feels amazing. It seems great, right? Like I am not trying, and I have straight A's. Well, in elementary school it wasn't A's, it was like E's, excellent, whatever. Always had amazing report cards. And you get okay, you know what? Let's just go up through the ages. So, as a wee lass, I even remember in what was it? It was either 3rd or 4th grade. My teacher called my parents into, like parent teacher conference or whatever, and she was upset at my parents. And my parents were like, "What's going on?" Like and she was like, "Why are you making her read these college level books and college level magazines and like she's a child?" And my parents were like, "That's that's what she's choosing to read. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We're not requiring her to read anything. That's just what's around and what she's grabbing." So when you tell her to write a book report and that's what she's choosing to write it on, we didn't tell her to write anything. Um, and it's kind of it's also a moment that my parents remember very distinctly as well. It's something I feel like it comes up at least once every couple of years. Like, you remember when Doctor, what is it, or not Doctor, Miss Schnechter, Miss Schnechter. Yeah, that anyway. I don't know why I hadn't thought about her name in a while, but yeah, called us into the office and da da da. Yes, yes, I do. And then when you get to middle school, like the whole thing with gifted kids, right, is your brain, the a kid's brain develops similarly to a kid's body, where there are kids who are like 5 feet tall very quickly and then they just stop growing. Like you can't super accurately predict a child's growth or like how they're going to develop mentally or physically just based on like the first couple of years, right? So there are kids who start off super tall and then are very quickly overtaken by their peers in middle and high school. Like that's just what it is. And so when you're labeled gifted, you're thinking, oh, it's going to be like this all the time. I'm never going to have to study when I get into middle school. I'm never going to have to study when I get to high school. When you ask me to write essays in high school, it'll take me an hour to get 3 pages done because in 4th grade, I've never had to study for a spelling test, or I've never had to pull out a calculator to do my math homework. I've never had to ask my parents to help explain these language arts concepts or help me with my dioramas or whatever. And what that does to you in your little kid brain is, one, it makes you feel like everything you do has to be perfect because now that's part of your identity. It was part of my identity. Like being a gifted child, being a very intelligent person became part of my identity, but I never had to work for it. So then you get into middle school, and my middle school situation was a little interesting because I started homeschooling, like what was it? Not like independent study, that's what it was called. Like after 6 months in a regular middle school. And I remember almost immediately feeling so stupid and so depressed, so like slow, because things didn't come naturally. Like my essays weren't just flowing out of me. Remembering American history and world geography wasn't something that I just remembered like I did as a kid. And I went from always being at the top of my class, never really having to work for any type of good grades, which, by the way, in elementary school, when none of this stuff matters, literally, it doesn't matter if you get the worst grades in your class in elementary school, it affects nothing going forward. So I don't know why it was made such a big deal that I was like super smart in elementary school, because it's like the same concept. Who cares? Once you go to it, let me not go too far off on a tangent. So as now still a child, but now a middle school age child, it's incredibly frustrating because you're wondering, what happened to me? What's wrong with me? What, like, if your whole identity is wrapped up in being super intelligent without effort, and now you have years of school under your belt where you have no what's the word? No history, no experience studying to get a good grade. Those habits are built when you are a child. Like kids going home and having to practice how to spell cat and hat and bat and all of that, those, it seems so insignificant at the moment. But even in middle school, I felt like I don't know how to study. I don't know how to take notes. When you say practice, what does that mean? I didn't know. And that's not, I want to make it very, very clear. That's not a flex. That's me being confused on how to operate on an academic level because I was never required to put in effort. Like, you know what that does to a person when you are never required to put in any sort of effort, but you still get praised for the results. So I went through my middle school experience, like I said, feeling really, really not great about myself because I felt like I was now trying to figure out how to work really hard, didn't know how to do it. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah, like I was working really hard, or what my version of working really hard was, and still not getting the desired result. It was extremely frustrating. I remember my parents being really frustrated because they also like all the information about how being gifted affects you in your later teens, in adulthood. None of that information, at least to my knowledge, was out yet at the time. So my parents are also frustrated. They're also confused because they were like, we know she's intelligent. She knows she's intelligent. Well, they thought I knew I was intelligent. I wasn't feeling it at the time. But what is happening? They're also not used to doing any sort of like helping me study and that sort of thing. But I also hadn't built those skills myself. So somehow, by the grace of God, I I was able to, with that independent study program, do 3 years of school in 2 years. It was also that teacher that I had, Sue Miller. Yeah, she was super sweet. Still talk to her to this day. But there was so I somehow got through that, and then went to a regular public high school where it was like it was the same thing. I felt like I was banging my head up against the wall trying to figure out what discipline was when it came to studying and getting your homework done, and not fully knowing how to work through a problem because I never had like obstacles and roadblocks to work through when I was younger, and still was struggling to figure that out through middle school. And in high school it wasn't any better. Again, I remember I remember my mom coming up to the school, and she was concerned because it was taking me so long to get my homework done. And I think the at the time that she went to the school, uh it was like an essay or something that I was writing, and I it literally took me like 7 hours to write it. And she's talking to the teacher or whatever, and she's like, how long should it be taking her to get her homework done? And the teacher was like, hour and a half maybe to write the whole thing. And she's like, so it shouldn't be taking 7 hours? No, it should not have been taking me 7 hours to write one essay for an American history class. And yet, this was the regular struggle. You can also imagine if I have like a full class load and it's taking me that long to write one essay, and I still have math homework, and I still have, which we'll get to the math homework, uh because I definitely found a shortcut for that. But um how not just like busy but draining it was for me. Wasn't enjoying anything. Again, there were like other challenges that I had in high school. I was bullied all the way through school. Like literally from my first day of kindergarten through the day I graduated high school, I was bullied, which is a story for another day. Cuz it felt like no matter where I went, couldn't catch a break. But yeah, so the same pattern continued through high school. I graduated with like very, very average grades. And again, that label still kind of sticking with me. And when I say the label, it's not like I still considered myself gifted by any means, but feeling like I was intelligent but didn't have the skills or the discipline to be able to express it in a way that my grades would show it. So that's a whole other type of frustration, right? And then, thank God, I didn't go to college, but went to technical school. And that required another level of learning, another level of studying, another level of trying to be consistent. I struggled with that. And now we're skipping ahead about 10 years, but now as a 29-year-old who has started in a new career that requires a lot of learning, a lot of learning just in like the flip side of the industry that I was already in. There are a few things that I very clearly know hold me back from being even better at my job than I already am. I feel like I'm good at my job, but reaching the next level requires a level of consistency and discipline that I have never had to build, or I've not even I never had to build, but I've never learned to build, and that's what I'm trying to learn now. These are skills that you should learn while you're in grade school, y'all. And it just wasn't a thing. And I'm not like resentful for it or anything. It's just this is a challenge that I have to overcome. And I think the ways that it shows up most often now is everything feeling like it needs to be perfect, or else it like rattles me. Like if I excuse me one moment. If I s- mm, if I write a report, for instance, to sorry, seeing a message from my coworker. If I write a report, for instance, to my manager, it's got to be worded perfectly. It's got to perfect formatting. The paragraphs have to be split absolutely impeccably. Like grammar's got to be on point. It just everything has to be perfect, or I feel like I can't do it, and that's a huge roadblock. I'm grateful that I've been able to figure out how to bypass a lot of that, but that like perfectionism holds me back so much. And I know it holds a lot of people back in different areas of their life. Part of the reason that I post on here is to allow myself to be like in process and not perfect all the time. Um but there's that aspect of it. There's also the aspect of trying to learn how to just sit down and do something, like the structure of my workday. I'm so incredibly grateful and so incredibly blessed that my current role has the flexibility for me to work on my own schedule and not have to have things done at like very specific times and at very specific intervals and like that sort of thing, because it would be extremely difficult if I didn't have the level of flexibility that I have. Um and again, working through it, praying through it, but it's a struggle, y'all. It's a struggle. Do you know how difficult it is to be struggling with things, and not like emotional, traumatic things that happened to you as a child, but skills that you should have built when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old at almost 30? I turned 30 in like a month. This. So, I say all that to say this year is my year of discipline and consistency. I tried 75 hard last year, like a modified version of it. And I want to do the same thing starting, not going to promise you a date, but I want to start 75 hard just because I feel like I need a not a jolt, but a jump start to having a level of structure and consistency in my life. And even with posting these videos, that's part of that as well. I mean, it's a broader thing. I want to be able to help people to get, jobs and pivot into tech and that sort of thing, and just like navigate big life changes. The things that I've learned in this year and a half after a huge life 180. But also the more selfish part of me wants to prove to myself that I can do something hard consistently. And I'm doing it so far. Day 18, like I said, check the track record. But I really want this year to be the year that I break the gifted child mold. Like I want want to be as successful as I possibly can be, and that's in every way, mentally, physically, spiritually. And that requires a level of discipline. It requires a level of consistency, and I want to challenge myself to do that. I also think challenges in general put me in a mindset of like, okay, I'm going to do this, which is again why the goal of minimum 100 days of posting on YouTube has been so good for me and why I'm so excited about it. But I want to extend that now to other parts of my life. So, working out the logistics of 75 hard now, and I want to incorporate aspects of my spiritual health, aspects of my mental health, and aspects of my work life. So, getting certain things for work done every single day, posting a YouTube video every single day, working out every single day, all of the things. So, if you are a former gifted child, know that you are not alone. I feel your pain. I am here struggling now. Hopefully you were able to figure it out. I'm hoping to figure it out this year. So we shall see. And I'm actually excited to see as we go through this 365 100 to 365 day daily posting journey to keep you guys updated with my progress, and hopefully you also see the progress as these videos start to get better too. um but yeah, I don't know what made me want to talk about this, but yeah, fun fact, we're at the end of the video now, so if you want to stick around, feel free. If not, I totally get it. But I have of a list of, I think it's 60 now, video ideas, life, career stuff, navigating life changes, my own things that I'm working through that I would like to talk through. And most of the time in the morning, I have zero idea what I'm going to talk to you about, and I have to look through the list and figure out like, okay, I think this is a good topic for today. I can manage this. I might scribble down some notes. Today there's no notes. So hopefully it didn't go too off the rails, but I actually started another video and got like 3 minutes into it and felt tears coming, and I was like, oh, nope, not happening today. So we'll see if you guys ever get that video, or if it just doesn't show up in the next 365 days. We shall see. But yeah. Anywho, thank you guys for joining me. Today is day 18. If you don't know, my name is Alexa and I'm posting every single day. Check my track record. We're going for a minimum of 100 days, but hopefully a full 365. And yeah, join me if you want to talk about career pivots, navigating big life changes, traveling, solo traveling, all of the things. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.